What's up, guys? All Muscle signing in. In this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the LS7 all tore down here and what happens when the valve drop happens to you. And this is what the internals of the motor are most likely going to resemble or closely look like. So this this is the block here, bare. We took it all down. We'll walk around it here. This was the problem location here. Let's see if I can get a better. Yeah, there's the problem location. That's where the piston exploded. And by exploded, I mean exploded. If you look down here, this is where the lifters go. There's a nice chunk of the piston there. The back is actually the front where the timing chain goes. Your cam retainer. Timing chain right here, and then the whole front cover. Also up here in the valley, look down in the valley, there's a bunch of chunks in there. We had chunks in the intake. There's the other side. They made it to the other side here, and those are chunks there. As far as the bores though, the bores look okay. On this side anyway. Let's go back to the problem location. If you look down in here, this is directly underneath, right above the oil pan. You got a crack here, and we also noticed a small crack right there. That's actually a crack as well, and that's the next location over. That's the next piston over. So yeah, this is actually a pretty destructive problem. If you have this problem, it will destroy your engine. Let's look at the crank here. The crank, surprisingly, all the journals all just look like they could just use a polish. I'm sure the motor didn't turn for too long, and when we got it, it was completely seized, so the whole assembly was not rotating. Journal there. All these journals look pretty good. I mean, this, as long as this crank's not bent, which it might be. I can't tell just by looking at it. Obviously, we'd have to put it on a balancing setup. But yes, that crank looks. As far as the journals are concerned, it looks good. I might hang on to that and take it to a machine shop. This one here is the cam. We've got damage to the cam. That'll be going in the scrap pile. This is your windage tray here. You've got a bunch of particles, chunks, ring material. This is the top. This is the valve right here. And I actually didn't even notice that until I just picked it up now. And then there's the other part to it, I guess. So that's your valve right there. That guy fell. He fell down. And there's some more ring material. Alright, moving along. Let's see what else we got. The lifters all came out. The one that was right above, I can't remember which one it was, but the one that was right above the piston there, that had the damage, or that disintegrated. I believe it was one of these here, these lifters, one or the other there. It was actually really tough to get out. We had to work it. No damage to the front cover. I don't see any damage to the front cover. That looks pretty good. Oil pump. The oil pump. We'll take that apart and look inside. I'm probably going to be loaded with shavings, but for the most part, on the external, the way it looks on the outside, it looks good. Here's the pan. So this is the dry sump system. The dry sump system is actually pretty neat. You got your pickup here, and then it actually travels through the casing or the casting here of the actual pan, and it comes up right into this. This is where your oil pump will sit. I'll just bring it over here. If you check those ports out there, the oil pump sits right on the front, just like that, and that's how it uses the suction there to pick up to pick up oil. So basically routes through here, and then this hole here, as you can see as well, it basically routes it through the casting here, and then it comes down into this area. And if you look exactly on the outside of that area, these are the two ports which lead to your dry sump tank. So pretty neat little setup. Moving along, timing chain. Timing chain seems good. Sprocket looks good. No damage to it. These are the main caps. Main caps look good. There's nothing wrong with the main caps. I wouldn't assume anything wrong with the main caps. There's a little chunk hanging out there, just hanging out. But yeah, main caps look good. The bearings don't look too bad actually. Like I said, these actually, or this motor shut down most likely within a few revolutions after this happened. So, the chunks and shavings and all that didn't really get a chance to fully circulate through the bearings. Anyways, these are the rods and pistons. You can see this one here does not have a piston on it. It's completely gone. I did have the wrist pin. We took the wrist pin out, so the wrist pin was still sliding back and forth in that bushing there. So that was pretty good. But I believe these are the titanium rods, and believe it or not, this guy is really extremely light for a rod. And I guess that's great for rotational weight and getting the motor to spin up quickly. But I would have to guess that this guy is definitely leaning. So that's probably trash. More than likely, that's trash. The one directly next to it. This is the piston that was directly next to it, and this one took a beating as well. Didn't come loose, didn't come apart, and it still moves freely. This rod here clashed with some material, but I don't think that's bent. I probably wouldn't run it, but I don't think that one was bent. The rest of these rods actually look to be in perfect shape. There's no scoring or damage to any of these other rods here. So 6 of these actually look good. I mean, you've got some skirt wear there, but that's to be expected. Some of this is a little excessive, but like this wear here in the middle, that's to be expected. But see these scratches here? These scratches are definitely from the exploded piston. That there is a little excessive. Again, I wouldn't run these pistons again, but the rods, these 6 rods here, I definitely would run. But as far as the motor, that's it there. I've got the head. This head. Here's the rear cover. The rear cover, no damage. There's the top valley cover, no damage as well. Water pump, no damage, nothing there. The head on this side, no damage. The one that did get damaged is the first one. I believe I might have showed this already. This is the head on the side where the damage was, or the exploded piston was. Again, let's flip this guy over, and there you have it. That valve there just completely broke off. That valve also gone, and then this head is. I've heard of people getting in here and fixing this up and welding it and getting it fixed up, but I wouldn't deal with it. I don't think these heads are too pricey. I mean, by the time you put machine shop work and get somebody to fix that, and then it's probably not going to come. Actually, no, there's casting material gone. This head is definitely trash. But I've seen some, maybe not so bad here, but I've seen something like this get reworked, and I'm just not a fan of that. I would, something like this, I would just toss this out. So this is garbage. This is going into the melting pot. We'll pull out some of the valves out of there and put that in the melting pot there. But anyways, that's it for the LS7 internals and the teardown. Let's look inside here. If you look in the hole here, you can see a bunch of damage down inside the block. And then let's go down here and take a look. So we've got a good amount of damage here right in this area. Looks like we got a Looks like we got like a chunk just hanging right there. Yep, that's a big chunk of material there. I don't know why I'm not focusing here. There we go. Yeah, that just came right out of there, so we'll drop it in the pile with the rest of them. Anyways, that's it for that. That's all tore down. I thought that'd be interesting to show you what the LS7 looks like internally after the valve drops on you. And if if you wonder why they say the motor is junk after that, that's exactly why, because everything in there is mostly junk. This is the fresh install that we got. The vehicle is running. It's running. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get the braking procedure done on it. We did have a slight issue with this setup. When we filled up the sump, the dry sump here, we filled it up initially because what the manual in the GM manual for this motor, it says that the engine comes with no oil. So okay, so we filled up the tank. Once we filled up the tank, cranked it. Luckily for us, and this might have just been a blessing, and I might have been actually, I wouldn't say might. I think this was a total blessing. We had this this nipple here was missing, so this vent piece here that goes to the tank, to the dry sump tank, and I'll tell you what happened here in a second, but started gushing as soon as on the very first fire up. We ran it for about I don't know, 5 or 7 seconds, something like that, and this just started gushing oil. I mean, quarts, and I think 2 quarts of oil came out of it, and it was gushing, and it went all around here. So we're gonna pull this car out here and get it cleaned up. But nevertheless, what I was talking about, back to what I was talking about earlier, the oil gets filled up in here, and I put 8 quarts in here, just like the manual says. And according to GM and the instruction manual for the LS7, and you can get on there if you don't believe me, that you get on the GM Performance and download the manual. It's a PDF. It comes in PDF format. You can read it in French, Spanish, English, whatever your language is. And says that the oil, that there is no oil in the engine, and to be sure to put oil or fill the engine with oil, and then run a directly after that, you're going to run a prime. You're going to pump it, prime the motor before you start it, which we did. Also, again, back to what we did, we put, going off of what GM had said in their manual, we put the 8 quarts in here, and we fired it up. Primed it and fired it up. So again, we started gushing oil out of that pipe there, and we couldn't figure out why that was. And we thought everything, we might have put something wrong. One of the hoses was crossed. So we sat there scratching, and come to find out at the end of the day that we pulled all 8 quarts out of this system, and then we became level with where we should have been. What was happening was the oil was getting pushed back up into the sump from the bottom of the engine, and you could see oil just filled up to the top of this, and it started running down from the dipstick area here. So definitely, I'm not sure what to think of that. I don't know if it was a courtesy that they filled up the engines now, or I don't know, but make sure if you put one of these engines in your car now, obviously we had to connect the lines to the bottom of the tank. When we got the motor, we had to connect the inlet and outlet lines right here to the bottom of the tank, and we did notice oil come out of there. We didn't think much of it. We just quickly capped it. We didn't think much of it. We figured there might be a cord in there just to, assembly, whatever. And so we didn't think that it was going to actually have 8 or 9 quarts of oil in the system already. So just a quick tip on that. Make sure you guys check to make sure that there isn't oil already in your block here, in your motor, before you put 8 quarts in here, and avoid a catastrophic oil spill here. I mean, it was everywhere. We cleaned it up already, but currently there's still a little puddle underneath the car. We let it drip because it was on the frame rail. We just let it all drip off. We're gonna back it out and take care of that here But yeah, that's it for now. I'm gonna do another final video on this, and when I get that video, once I get the engine broken in, or the initial startup procedure and break-in, which GM recommends, done, then I'll show the engine running. I don't like to run a fresh engine until I'm ready to do the break-in procedure, and once I do that, then I'll feel more comfortable, and then that way we can get the ring seated nicely, and also do that first oil change. You got to do that first oil change right after, and then what I did is I ran a conventional oil. As far as what I put in, I don't know what GM put in. I'm pretty sure, you know, they should have ran a conventional oil on a non-synthetic. What I used was just this Quaker State here, this Quaker State 530, and that's what I was going to use to do a break-in on it. So anyways, that's it for now, guys. I mean, if you have any questions about this, or found this interesting, leave a comment down there. Let me know what your thoughts are, and then I'll probably hang on to some of the stuff like these rods. That head I think is going to be good, and then we're going to check out that crank. But the rest of the stuff is all garbage. That oil pump, we'll check out that oil pump as well, and I think this pan made it. There's no problem with the pan. The pan might be good, as long as we can replace this tube. If they sell a replacement tube, you don't have to buy the whole thing, and then we'll do that. But that's it for now, guys. We'll talk to you soon, and you guys take care. Be cool, and I'll see you on the next one.